Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened as I said it would. People will be. Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Good evening to you all. As you can see, it's late night Leeds vibe because I'm sat in my dressing gown. And I've just got Lloyd out of bed as well. Lloyd, how you doing, mate? All right?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. Yeah, I was just about to fall asleep for the night, but don't want to miss the opportunity. So here I am.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the call came in, did it? We did say 9 o'clock, but I've got the little ones tonight, mate, and Harry had a late night, so just got him off, and then I was like, right, let's see what Lloyd's doing. Andrea is under the weather, and Lockie is busy with work. We have got the lovely Eevee joining us around about 1:15, she said. So hopefully Eevee will drop in as well. Nice to see you all in the chat now as well. I was looking at the chat thinking, where is everyone? But they're now here. Rumsey, smash a like and subscribe. Big up to Alison. We've got Nige D, Vic Vinegar, Jake King. Mine says, love a bit of late night Leeds, as do I, mate. And also it means that people in Australia, for example, get to watch us live. He says, Josh G says, pay your rent, smash a like, and good morning from Australia. Pulled me away from my episode of Barry. I don't know what that is, bro. What's Barry? What's Barry? I don't know what Barry is. Danny says YouTube playing up. That's what it might be. Big up to Steph as well. Nice to see you. Nice to see everyone in the chat as well. And here in Vermont. Will it be VT? What's VT, bro? Vermont?
No idea, mate.
No, Vermont's Canada, innit? I think. Anyway. I don't know. But Lloyd, before we get into some match chat, how's you, mate? How's the channel going? How's life? What's going on?
Yeah, it's going all right, mate. As you know, I had a bit of time out of it because it was it's easier than it looks. The YouTube game, much easier than it looks. Like you make it look quite easy, but it is difficult, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously the missus is pregnant, due in a week today, actually. So wow. if you hear any loud screaming, you know what it is.
If you have to dart off.
Yeah, but no, I'm all good. Life's always better when Leeds are doing well. Yeah,
exactly. Congratulations as well,
mate.
Do you have any names in the offing? Pablo or
Pablo?
No?
Rafinha. No, a bit of a different one. Bridie. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Bridie.
Bridie Hannon. He's a Leeds United footballer, actually, bro. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I never heard of him.
You don't know that? Don't tell your missus because she's like, you've done it on purpose. Yeah, Bridie. Let me just double check this. I know I'm right. Bridie, football player. She plays for Leeds United, bro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. That's why I named her Bridie. That's it.
Yeah. There you go. Love that. Anyone want to help me drive Fairport's? Right. Okay. So no doubt you'll have seen this news, Lloyd. He's injured again, right?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds really like harsh, but I just want him gone. Like January the 1st, if I saw that we'd got rid of him, I'd just be so happy because he's just it's just a liability, really. And the thing is, if he had like some ability, like Sinisterra used to like always be injured, then coming back in that, like you can sort of put up with it a bit because it's his quality. But Firpo is just he's not great anyway, so it's just a burden if anything right now, I think.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? He's played however many minutes and then has got himself injured again, which is disappointing and frustrating and all this sort of things. Do you know what I mean? And look, like you say, I think for me, come January, we just cut our losses. We just cut our losses. It's one of them. Like, go on, mate. What were you going to say?
I think we're quite. I think we're quite fortunate that Byram's done as well as he has because they're obviously putting some faith in Firpo because Byram was never really meant to be this out and out starting left back, was he, with his injury record, and he's obviously naturally a right back. So I think they can count themselves lucky that Byram's done what he's done because if we were just left with Firpo, what would be? I up shit creek, wouldn't we?
Yeah, exactly. We'd have Shackleton playing there week in, week out, probably. So we have to go and get a left back now in January, don't we?
I think that's got to be our number one target, probably.
Yeah,
surely.
I agree. As much as we probably need a number 10 as well, I think the first thing we do is go out and bloody go get that left back, isn't it?
Even if it's someone on loan or something. Just another exactly. In that position.
Yeah, I agree. Because like Nate says here, as good as Byram's been, if we didn't get one, it's Leeds United's luck for, come February the 1st, Byram gets injured and then we've got no one. Do you know what I mean? So,
2 months and
Exactly.
And also, because of his injury record, he's going to need some kind of rest at some point. And obviously, the Christmas period is just like manic. And going into the new year, we're going to have to get someone in to at least, just give Byram a rest, if anything.
100%, yeah. And I've just seen a short on social media of Connor's from one Leeds saying Byram's got some sort of machine to help his legs through games. I don't know what that is, folks, and I just wondered if anyone knew in the chat. I didn't. I was going to message him to see what he meant, but I wonder if he's having to go through certain things pre and post match to make sure that he's able to make it through, because we know his body's buggered. I don't know what that is, and I don't know if it's right, but I just seen it actually before we came live, a little short that he's done for social media. So maybe someone in the chat can tell me about this machine that he's using. Gary says, think we all agree now with Firpo injured again. Yeah, I think, look, I've already seen on social media those that were still backing him have said at this point, it's like, what, you can't back him if he's not going to play ever, is he? So
final nail, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Bowie says Byram is the machine. It's a Sibian. Vic will know. Vic's got knowledge. Let me have a look. Sibian machine. What's this?
And what does that? Yeah, what does it actually do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's working, whatever it does, but yeah.
Is he having me on? What is it, Vic? Tell me. I don't know. Yeah, that's true, apparently. Also, he mentioned it on the LUFC podcast. There you go. I don't watch them to be fair. Shockwave therapy. There we go. Gil's personal trainer as well. He's Gil, actually. I know him from social media. So yeah, Gil will know. So there you go. He's having to go through all these things to get through. So I think even the club at this will say, We'll definitely go. We need to go out and get a left back with that going on. Apparently, it's a Pilates machine. There you go. See, me and you ain't got a clue in all the chat.
No, I haven't got Scooby-Doo, mate.
Yeah, no. Thank God for the chat. They're all like, as if you don't know this. Yeah. So there you go. Fantastic. So, and just joining us as well now for a debut appearance, we've got the lovely Eevee. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Really, really good. Let me see if we can move us. That's a little bit better, isn't it? Is that better? Or that?
That's
Is that
better.
Too close? Is this too close for comfort?
Yeah,
right. Okay.
That's too close.
I'll tell you what then. Let me move Lloyd there. So, no, there. That might work. No, that's probably going to have to. Can you turn your camera? Can you turn your camera that way, Eevee?
I don't have a camera. I'm only on my phone. So
I'm not
so
am I. Yeah, that'll be. Yeah, that's better. That's better. That works better. There we go. How are you doing, Eve? You all right?
Yeah, good. I'm just defrosted from my dog walk.
Dog walk. Yeah, it's cold out there, isn't it? You need one of these. You see, this is what you need when you come in the house. Is get one of these.
Get an Oodie on.
yeah, exactly. Late night Leeds, Oodies are allowed if you want. You can wear an Oodie for sure. Definitely. Eevee, we were just chatting about Junior Firpo there. Do you have any thoughts on his latest injury?
The guy's a joke. Like, I haven't been cruel about Junior Firpo. I haven't liked him. I know in the first season, the guy was just a walking yellow card, really. I was very surprised that he didn't get a red card in his first season. But he don't want to be here. Do we really need him? Like, he's just taking up a wage at this point. Obviously there's a lot of people that go on Bamford about him taking up a wage, but I still think he offers a hell of a lot more than Junior Firpo. it gives me anxiety when Junior Firpo is warming up at the side of the pitch. So I'm quite grateful, to be fair, that he's not going to be an option tomorrow.
Yeah. No, exactly. There is that. Someone says, put Firpo on the shocking machine. we were just talking about Byram's having to go through Sybian therapy. I don't know if people are having me on with this. Do you know what Sybian therapy is? Oh, no, apparently shocked for it. Just because Vic says I nearly got him, so I'm now starting to think, were they on the wind up? But apparently he's got some sort of Pilates machine. Right, okay, so Jill says, no, that is totally something different, Joe. Right, okay. so Vic's had me over here, you little divvy. I Googled it as well and nothing bad came up. Should I be Googling this or something? I don't know if I should even be Googling what this is. It's not one of them machines. Oh, right, okay. It's a bit, it's something rude, I think. Oh, God.
Don't say it.
No. I've just seen the picture, man. Why, Vic? I expect better from you, Vic. I can't lie to you. I cannot believe you've done that. Oh, for God's sake. That's a totally different machine that you might use for other things. Anyway, moving on. Let's move on from that quickly. So Firpo's going to be out. Joffy, let's talk about Joffy actually as well. Lloyd, I'll come back to you because Joffy, when initially came in from Wigan, we didn't pay nothing for him due to the issues they had. And, we're expecting him to maybe, be this next best thing. And I don't know what's going on there either. I know he's injured, but even if he does get back, I think he needs a loan in January. I'd go as far as to say, because he's not getting anywhere close to the team, is he?
Yeah. I can't imagine him just ever getting into this team. I just can't. But it's just ironic that all the managers that have managed him, none of them have ever really put that much faith in him. He's always got like these little cameos at the end of games, and sometimes, to be fair to him, he did like bail us out of a few games, didn't he? Especially in the season that we stayed up. But he's never really got a good run in the team. See, this sounds a bit harsh, but I think he'd be just a really good League One player. I think he would score 15, 20 goals in League One, and I don't know. I don't think he's got a future at our club. So for his future, I think he needs to move on.
Yeah, it's a lot like Sam Greenwood, really, Eevee, isn't it? Because he felt like he was not going anywhere, and he's been loaned out to Middlesbrough, and he's their joint top scorer with 4 goals, and they love him. So it's almost like Joffy needs, and I tend to agree with Lloyd. I said earlier, like a League One top end club as their main guy up front. Maybe that could work for him, Eevee, just to get him out there in the market, if you like, so other clubs can have a look at him.
Yeah, I think he needs it because he's stalled, really, hasn't he, at Leeds? And I think that Jesse Marsh has a lot of answering to do when it comes to both Joffy, Greenwood, even Dan James. Obviously, their careers have all stalled at Leeds because of the fact that nobody played any of them in the right position, really. And if he needs to go to, Joffy needs to go somewhere that has a system that will suit him, or maybe just a coach that can coach him, and maybe in a club that doesn't have as much pressure. We've got a lot of pressure on us that we need to get back up to the Premier League, because if we don't, we're going to lose Somerville, we're going to lose Rutter, depending, maybe Melier. I know that some people might not think that that's a bad thing, but, there's going to be a lot of people that won't be happy doing the Championship again. And Joffy can't make that much of an impact. It's too much pressure. And to be fair as well, obviously in that Norwich game in the season that we did stay up, he got injured straight away afterwards. So his injury record hasn't been great either. So he's not had constant management. been played in the right place, and he's been unlucky with injuries. So unfortunately, I think he's probably done his bit at Leeds, kind of thing, and we've probably got the best out of him that we could expect. I don't think we can really expect any more from him.
Yeah, no, I agree with all points you've made there, to be honest. Before we do move on, Andrew says, I still need to know what an Eevee is. Andrew's in the States, I believe. An Eevee is basically a pullover, a bit like this, but like goes over your head with a hoodie, I guess.
It's like a fluffy blanket jumper, like an oversized jumper.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like a sort of a sleeping bag vibe or something. I don't know. They're comfy, bro. My kids have them. I know some women wear them as well. I mean, I don't. As you can see, I'm rocking the smoking jacket vibe. I don't know, Lloyd. Do you have an Eevee?
No, but the missus does.
Yeah.
So, she loves exactly. It.
Yeah. They're never out of them, are they, mate?
Right.
Well, is it crawling? It has to crawl to the wash itself at times. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of vibe. Right. So looking ahead tomorrow, obviously Leeds have been unbelievable at home. We are the only undefeated team in the league at home. You know, we've conceded the least. We continued that great form against Swansea. We've actually been amazing. Do we expect that to continue? I mean, Eevee, I'll come back to you. Are you expecting 3 points tomorrow, or are you a little bit nervous?
I'm anxious as hell for tomorrow, really. I think a good thing is that we don't have Greenwood to score against us tomorrow, but you can't beat momentum. You know, look at Ipswich, and obviously Middlesbrough started so poorly because, you know, they had a similar kind of grand escape that we had at the beginning of the season with, you know, loans not coming back and things like that. So they had a really disruptive start to the season, which I think gave everybody a bit of a false impression as to what they were as a team. And now Carrick is unfortunately working his magic again with them, and they're in brilliant form. I don't know. I would be disappointed with a draw, but also I wouldn't be gutted as well. I think that there are worse results from a team that are in form, such as Middlesbrough. And I hate predicting wins now, because whenever I predict a win, it always goes south.
Right, you don't predict a win then. We'll remember that either. No, but the mad thing is, I did a preview earlier on. If anyone hasn't watched it, please do watch it, because it helps the channel, just watching as much as you can. But the mad thing is that Middlesbrough haven't actually beat us at Ellen Road now for over a decade. I had a look back, and the last time they beat us was February of 2013. They've had a couple of draws in there, but the majority have been wins. So, Lloyd, do you think we're just looking at Middlesbrough, the team, and just it's a nervousness because we keep winning? Because for me, I'm quite confident about it, mate. I don't know where your head is.
I'm the same. I mean, like Eve said, they are a good side and they are in decent form, but not like unbelievable form. So they beat Preston 4-0.
Yeah.
But, you know, they lost tonight to QPR, didn't they? I think they're sort of dwindling a bit. And then before that, didn't they lose to Bristol City? I know they beat Leicester. Yeah. So, yeah, they're not a bad side, but most of their points have come at home. And if we're going to catch those top two, I think we've got to look at that game and think, yeah, it's going to be difficult, but we need to win. The difference is, you know, they won't let us dictate the play like Swansea did, like almost Rotherham did. They'll, you know, like Michael Carrick, he loves passing the ball around. So they'll come to Ellen Road and they'll try and play their own game. They won't camp in their box. You know, they'll come at us, which I think will suit us, hitting them on the counter and stuff. So I'm quite confident. I know they're a good side, but we're a better side and we haven't lost at home. So, yeah, I think we'll win.
Yeah, I love that confidence. I love that. Has any of that rubbed off on you, Eevee? Hearing me and Lloyd giving it the big un?
Well, no, because you'd give us the big un like if we were playing Man City. So to be fair, it doesn't necessarily count for much.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. What are you trying to say?
Well, just that you're super positive about
yes.
about Leeds, even when it goes beyond reason. But if you remember when it came to the Millwall game, we hadn't beaten them for like 12 years or something at home. So when people start pulling out all these stats, it makes me nervous, because if there's one thing that Leeds can do is leads it up, and kind of, if we're on a brilliant run or something like that, and all of a sudden we just go and just leads it up, and just, it's like losing to Stoke kind of thing. I don't want players, I said this in one of the chats the other day, that with us having such a young team, they're on the high of the kind of being good for the first time in like 2 years, but they can't, they do need to be reined in a little bit, and actually know that they're not, just because everybody says, oh, Leeds are going to get promoted, you still have to win the games in order to get promoted. We're not as good as everybody says we are unless we win the games, because, otherwise then we just become a bit anticlimactic.
I love that word, by the way, anticlimactic. That's a good word, that is. Vinegar says, I heard a Borough fan channel mention an injury crisis. Is this true? They did have 9 players out for Preston and still managed to win 4-0. So, yeah, there is a bit of an injury crisis. I've just had a look. Obviously, they'll be without Sam Greenwood, but looking at it now, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5, mate. At least 5, according to Flash Score. I know they had a lot out for the Preston game. So yeah, they do have a few injuries, but clearly are still able to get results. And I agree with what Eevee was saying earlier in terms of. It's very similar to Leeds United in the sense that we had a tumultuous August, and so did Borough because of all the upheaval with the squad losing players, etc. And then we've seen them improve over the last couple of months. So they will be in with a shout. But for me, in terms of, Eevee, you spoke about promotion and being anticlimactic, but these are the games we've got to win, right? Because I look at that game at midday, West Brom v Leicester, and I think there's a big chance West Brom gets something, at which point we then have to follow it up against Middlesbrough. These are games we must win, right?
Yeah. Have we won those games yet, though, this season?
What, in the must-win games?
Yeah, have we won them? The only one that I can think that we have won when we all said we had to win was the Leicester game, but we had to win against Southampton, and they were on a 4 losing streak, I think, at that point, and we just kind of, we were pathetic that game. So that's when we put that kind of pressure on a team that half of the team are new and the other half have been like emotionally damaged from the last 2 years. It makes me nervous to think that pressure is on. And Ellen Road, from I haven't been this season, but just from looking at it from the outside, has seemed quite a nervous, flat atmosphere at times until we score. So if we don't score straight away, I think that atmosphere is going to be quite difficult to play under, because the Borough fans will bring it, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure they will. And there has been a lot of talk, especially even on social media, the past couple of, the last 24 hours about Leeds' atmosphere this season, and there's talk of increasing the stadium, and fans are saying, well, what's the point? Because, it's not great at the minute and all this sort of stuff. And listen, we've got to grow revenue, so they've got to increase the stadium, and they clearly think there is reason for it. Maybe sell some more season tickets, some more corporate or whatever. But yeah, the atmosphere, I don't know. I put that atmosphere down to the fans being expectant. I think everyone's going into games saying we've got to win, we should win, we're the best team in the division, we've got the best players, and I think that has a different kind of vibe to it. A little bit like Man City. I'm not saying we're the Man City of the Championship, but what I'm saying is they go into every game thinking we're going to win. We're going to win. And I think sometimes that does put a dampener on the atmosphere, because when you score, it's like, yeah, we've scored. We should be scoring, and they're in that jeopardy. I think sometimes jeopardy can help create an atmosphere. So I think maybe that has something to do with it. Lloyd, tomorrow, obviously, we've seen Farke midweek bring off the likes of Rutter, bring off the likes of Somerville to give them rest, etc. How do you see the lineup looking? Do you think he goes with the same lineup and doesn't change anything?
I do, yeah. I mean, he's definitely bringing them off to rest them for the weekend.
Yeah.
I think it'll pretty much be an unchanged team. I mean, we didn't pick up any injuries, did we, that I know of?
Not that I know of, mate.
No,
just
not
purple. Just purple after 11 minutes.
Yeah, but that's fine. I think he'll go full strength, same team. I don't think he's. I mean, he experimented a bit. Was it Southampton away and then Stoke away? He made a few changes, well, didn't he? And every time he's tried to do that, he's sort of got his fingers burnt a bit. So
yeah.
I think he'll just play our best team, pretty much the same starting lineup, I'd imagine. In our last game, I thought there was an outside chance that Nonto started and James sat on the bench, but he's obviously got full faith in James, which is he's earned it. He's been brilliant this season. Unless people are getting tired that we can't really see, because as we said, we've got Christmas coming up, so it's a busy period. He's going to have to make some changes at some point, but I don't think he will tomorrow.
Yeah, no. I'm going to come. I'll come to you, Eevee, as well. Are you expecting the same lineup? Would you make any changes? Would you bring in Spence, for example? Because I think that's the key. I mean, for me, I love Gray that much that I don't think Spence gets in, and I'm okay with it actually, which might sound wild, but I just love Gray. But do you see any changes? Obviously, there has been a quick turnaround in the games.
The only change that I think he might make, I don't know, is Shaq's fit?
Yeah, I think so. Well, yeah. The only two injuries are, three: Dallas, Firpo, and Joffy.
So I don't know whether. I think he should keep it the same, but obviously Byron went in with that amazing tackle, which then led to the third goal. And if he's having to have like injections and things like that all the time, that was like a no bullshit tackle. And if he's got any kind of slight niggle, obviously we've got, is it Blackburn away the next game? But we've got quite a few games coming up, so maybe Byron. But I think Borough is so strong that I think he keeps Byron and maybe risks Blackburn for him instead, kind of thing. So plays Byron and maybe swaps out if needs be for Blackburn. But I think he'll keep it the same, and I would probably think that he should. But I do think we need to start seeing more of other players, because for as much as you don't drop a winning like team formula.
Yeah.
But if Somerville gets injured, if Georgie gets injured, if Dan James, runs out of batteries, then, all of a sudden we've got a front three that hasn't gelled together, that hasn't played together. And we've seen when he makes multiple changes at like Stoke game that it doesn't often work. So if you can with ease make one change each game to keep the squad fresh and that they're all singing off the same hymn sheet, then maybe that needs to be done a bit more before, we're then expecting cold players to come in and then we absolutely lambast them when they don't play well, because they've not had the opportunity to actually gel and play. So I think he'll keep it the same, but I would hope that if we're in a decent position, he would make changes sooner.
Yeah,
but I think he's stubborn, so I don't think he will.
That's the thing. There does seem to be a real reluctance for him to definitely make changes sooner, for sure. Because it's just happening all the time. But we've seen that from Bielsa as well. He was exactly the same. there is quite a few similarities, I think, between them, and there probably is with all the top managers, to be fair. But definitely the two in recent times we've had that have had success, and I know Daniel Farke's still in the early stages, but I think we can all feel success, or at least decent, time as Leeds United fans. They've got quite a few similarities. Andrew said with the super sticker, thank you. Gary says as well, can James make it 6 home games in a row with a goal? I think, is it not 4 or is it 5? I thought it was 4, Gary. Maybe 4 in a row.
I think it's 4 at the moment. Yeah.
I think it's 4, yeah. But yeah, maybe he can. Listen, he knows where the back of the net is this season, and I've been really impressed with him. And I was like you, Lloyd. I'd have said, oh, do we bring in Nonto? He wasn't great away at Rotherham, but he was good again against Swansea. So what I found quite funny, like the Swansea fans have just wiped the hands clean of both him and Pirro.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, they celebrated, they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was nice. I can't lie. But yeah, I think the thing is, he does have to use the squad because, like's been said, there is like 7 games in December, 7 games, which is a hell of a lot. I think it could well be the busiest month that we've got in terms of games in one month. And it doesn't just stop there, because if you think about it, we then play on the 2nd or 1st of January, New Year's Day. So you've got the 7 in December, then straight away the 1st of Jan. So it's almost like 8 games in quick succession. So he does have to use this squad. I agree. I think Eevee's hit the nail on the head with, players coming in cold. You're asking Gruyev to maybe start a game if Ampadu breaks down, and he's played about 20 minutes here and there in total. So it is frustrating. But yeah, I think the most important thing that I do have in the back of my mind with stuff like this, though, is we have the perfect man to get us through this, because he's been there, seen it and done it with Norwich on 2 occasions now. And I think that's the key thing that we need to remember. Barney's just put, Joe, couldn't post on your Pressavid. The Ayling never wrong comment blew my mind. What does that even mean? He gave the ball to Bamford at Stoke, if I remember correctly. Folks, I don't know if either of you know what this is referring to? I can quickly advise you. So basically, during the presser, Daniel Farke was asked about young leaders, and he was saying, "Yeah, we've got leaders within the team, but our philosophy or our views are experience is key." So he said, on the pitch, if Luke Ayling says something, he is right, even if he is wrong. So a young player has to listen to what the old players say, regardless of if he's wrong. In that moment, whatever Luke Ayling says goes, kind of vibe. And then he said, and when we come off the pitch, we'll discuss it. But ultimately, Luke Ayling's right at that moment in time. And it speaks about that seniority and having experience. And I think that's important, because Cooper, Ayling, Bamford and co have been there, seen there, done it. But what do you make to that? Because like Barney said here, obviously he's a bit like, well, what does that mean? Do we have a leadership group? I'm not sure. It might mean nothing, but
I get it in the fact that that they're the senior players and they're Ayling's got so much experience, but I don't know if what he says is right, and even if he's wrong, because I mean, right now he's not brilliant, and I know we can't judge it on ability, but no, I'm not really a fan of that comment. I don't really. No, not for me.
No. Any thoughts on it, Eevee?
I think it's quite amusing, really, because he says that, but Ayling hasn't been on the pitch for how many games now?
Yeah.
So if what he says on the pitch is right, then how come he's not on the pitch?
Yeah,
because he can't be right if he's not playing. So I think that's more. He's quite good at giving lip service when needed. Is Farke, like, obviously, we can see that he doesn't rate Ayling. We can see or thinks, not doesn't rate Ayling, but thinks Ayling is past his best. And he clearly doesn't see it with Cresswell either. and that's why he's not making the squad or not making a sub appearance. So for as much as he says what Ayling says is right on the pitch, it doesn't kind of ring true, because if he says the right things and does the right things on the pitch, then why isn't he making, he's probably the last sub used now, is Ayling, even if he does make the squad. So I think that's more kind of blowing a bit of smoke up Ayling's ass, really, than actually. I wouldn't read right now. If Ayling was still coming on, I would read something into it, but I wouldn't read anything really into that. I think he's going about the old guard in probably the most diplomatic way he can possibly do it. He's easing them out with grace, probably. And I think if he'd have carried on starting Ayling, Ayling's got a lot of credit in the bank, but I do think that people would start losing that credit, kind of thing. I think he'd spend it very fast if he kept on doing the same mistakes that he was doing at the beginning of the season.
No, I hear you. The mad thing is as well, I do think we probably are. We know we are seeing the end of them anyway now. There's no way Luke Ayling's getting a new deal. Luke Ayling's not even getting in the squad now. Everyone fully fit in his position. He's not going to get in there anyway. Liam Cooper's minutes are only when Strauch's not fit. So I don't see Luke Ayling getting a new deal either. Not Luke Ayling, sorry, Liam Cooper. Paddy Bamford, I do believe if there was a competent enough option, and clearly Farke doesn't think yet, folks, that Mateo Joseph is a competent enough option yet. I know we all do, but clearly Farke doesn't quite yet. But when and if one does come in, then Bamford's minutes are going to become few and far between as well. Listen, a little bit tongue-in-cheek earlier on, Billy Sharp wants to come back to the Championship, so I quote tweeted it and was like, I'd take him over Pat. A lot of people are taking it for 100%, but I also think as well, probably because a lot of the chances that fall to bloody Pat, Billy Sharp does find the net. I'm not advocating his signature, by the way, folks. I'm not. It was a little bit of fun, really, to be honest. But I do think there are other strikers out there that could come in and could get us the odd goal here and there. Bamford's not providing that right now. So I think, I know a lot of people would like to see the end of them in January, but I don't think that happens. I think they'll be here until the end of the season.
Summer,
yeah. And do you know what, Lloyd? Do you think Cooper deserves a testimonial? He's been here 10 years. That's normally the time.
Yeah, I think he does. Over the years, I mean, he's never been like a brilliant centre back, but he's always cared and he's always given it his all. And I know people say, "Oh, we're not Sentiment FC and Charity FC." I get that, but he's not actually that bad anyway. He always puts in at least a half decent performance. And I think out of all the old guard, he's probably the one that I like the most, and I think he's like the most consistent when he does play. Whereas Bamford and Ayling, I don't know, just too many mistakes. I mean, Bamford's are more noticeable because they're in front of goal, but amount of times Ayling gets done on the wing, that ball over the top, and that it's just as bad, but it's not as noticeable. But yeah, Cooper, I think he's been a great servant to the club. He's been here through it all. How many managers has he had? Is it 10 or something mental like that? Yeah. I think he deserves it. I'd like him to stick around when he retires as well, as some kind of coach or something, because he does love Leeds, doesn't he? Like proper love Leeds. So I think
he does. Yeah. Eevee, what say you? Do you think he deserves a decent send off? I seen someone put on Twitter. I think it was Binky. Big shout out, Binky said, you could have like a game of current Leeds players on this testimonial against the likes of your Pablos, your Berardis, all these other players, and maybe give them the send off that they all should have got anyway.
Beckford,
bring
Click
back,
get them all back,
all that sort of thing. I think it'd be nice for him to experience that.
Yeah, I've got nothing against Cooper, and I think when you've got Byram at the side of him, and Rodon at the other side as well. I feel calmer with him on. It was when we had the double substitution of Cooper and Firpo. It just gave me kind of Jesse Marsh flashbacks kind of thing of, you know, the ball going over the top and it just leading to another goal. But obviously Jesse Marsh always used to say we don't concede the same goal over and over again, even though the rest of us could see that we quite clearly did. But I think that he does deserve the send off, and I think that the you know, having a competition with, you know, the old guard, you know, including people who have already left, would be a nice way to say goodbye properly. COVID ruined a lot of goodbyes for a lot of people, and then the Premier League, when we could have people in, well, it wasn't great, was it? You know, once COVID was over, we didn't do very well after that. So yeah, I mean, I've got a question for both of you. We see a lot of hammering of our defence, and say the Rotherham game, for instance. Defensively, we made as a unit, we made 2 mistakes. One led to a goal and one led to a Cooper goal line clearance. But and our defence got hammered. You know, like everybody slated them. You know, what was Archie doing? What was Firpo doing? Blah blah blah. But they made 2 mistakes, and they were howlers, but they made 2 mistakes in that entire game, and we still draw the game. Why are we not hammering on the attacking players when they're constantly missing chance after chance after chance? Because it just highlights, when the defense makes one mistake, it highlights their one mistake. But when the attackers miss chance after chance, we're not berating any of them. You know, they cost us, you know, a goal not scored at one end is as bad as a goal conceded at the other. So why aren't the fans kind of going in on Somerville for his occasional selfishness? Or, you know, I know the fans do go in on Bamford, so I'm not going to use him as an excuse, but we create great opportunities at one end, but don't know how to put the ball in the back of the net. But then Meslier will make one mistake and that's it. You know, get rid of him in January. We need, you know, 3 new goalkeepers on the bench, and you know, Cooper should never wear the shirt again, and this, that, and the other. But the attackers aren't doing their job either. You know, we win as a team and we lose as a team. So I just wanted to know if you thought that the hatred that the attackers, that the defenders get, is worth more than the kind of what the attackers get.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, Eevee, and you know, a lot of people have agreed with you, and Gabe, big up to Gabe, by the way. He says it's a good point. It's the life of a defender. Sadly, you don't have to be brilliant; you just have to be solid and not make mistakes. But yeah, it's you know, it's like the goalkeeper situation, as Vic says. Meslier has nothing to do. He faces one shot, it goes in, and we're all like, yeah, but every shot that he faces, it goes in, and I just feel it's a little bit harsh. But yeah, I do agree with you, because I'm still convinced that Rotherham, if Somerville passes that ball to Pirro scores that goal from the position he was in instead of him. It's like someone said in the chat, and I think it's fair. Somerville will go until he realizes he can't score, then he'll pass. You know what I mean? And it was like he's seen Pirro and thought, no, I'm gonna have a go, and then his angle cut down, and he gave it Kamara, and by that point the angle was too tight, and Kamara missed. Whereas if he'd have just passed it, but that, I guess that'll come with time. But yeah, listen, you know me, I hammered James, to be fair, and he did miss a lot, but he's been coming up trumps. But it's a great point she makes, though, right, Lloyd?
It's a great point, yeah, definitely. And it's funny, isn't it? Because say I don't know, Somerville or James, they miss chance after chance after chance, and then if they score one, they're the hero. Doesn't matter what they've missed. Whereas for a defense, like defenders, they can make all these good tackles and clearances, but then one mistake and it's all on them. And Daniel Farker actually said in the Swansea interview after the game, he said he would like us to be a little less wasteful, didn't he? So he's obviously aware that we are very wasteful. But I think because of the amount of chances we create, we kind of get away with it a bit. Like every game we're having 15, 20 shots. So we can almost afford to be, no, we can't afford to be wasteful. That's wrong. But we have so many chances that we're not going to score them all. We're not going to win a game 15-0. So all we got to do is score 2 or 3 and then hope that the defence hold tight. So yeah, it's just like Gabe said, if you're at the back, everything you do is highlighted more, just the way that football is. But it's a good point because it shouldn't really be like that. But also, I feel like we're quite unlucky. Like some of the goals we let in, I just feel like they're Leeds goals to let in. You know, I'm sure it does, but it doesn't feel like it happens with other clubs. Like a couple of little deflections in the box and it goes in. Like it's a bit of a while ago now, but that game at home to West Brom where he brought it down with his hand, shot, it hit hard. But you know, just it feels like it always happens to Leeds. I'm not blaming our luck for bad defending at times, but I do think we are a bit unlucky at times at the back because we for 80 minutes of the game, I think we defend really well, and when they have one little lapse, it seems to just go in like Swansea's goal, just one lapse of concentration, and he's lofted it over the keeper and it's in. It's like
But would you say that we have actually got away with it? Because the points on the board suggest that we haven't. Because how many games have we said we should have won that? So we could be higher up. We could be where Ipswich are at least if we'd have put those chances to bed. We're creating so much without actually being clinical, and this isn't even a Farker issue. It's something that's happened. You know, Bielsa used to say it, that we had to create dozens of opportunities in order to just simply get the job done. And obviously with the financial pressures now of getting back to the Premier League, it's even more important than it was when we went up last time, because last time we didn't know any different, whereas this time we know that we are going to lose a good chunk of players if we don't. So I don't think we are getting away with it, because we should be higher up. And yeah, I do agree with the luck scenario. We've had some really terrible, you know, penalty calls and things like that haven't gone our way. We've had just shocking, you know, the red card decision against Rodon, because his first yellow should never have been a yellow. You know, we have had some really poor decisions, but we make our own luck. And if we can't convert, then we're not getting away with it, in my opinion, because we should be. We keep on boasting that we've got the best attacking four in the league, but if the best attacking four can't score goals, then what barometer are we measuring them on? Because goals are what attackers should be doing.
There's been it's a good point, but there's been like a couple of games where, you know, they have bailed us out. Like first day of the season, we was 2-0 down. We got it back to 2-2. Norwich away was 2-0 down. We won 3-2. So they have come up trumps in some occasions to get us over the line. But typically we are a wasteful team. You know, that's what you're saying, isn't it? We are a wasteful team, and I think it's just the way it is at the moment. I don't know. The good thing is we are creating chances. Imagine if we was wasteful and we wasn't creating 15, 20 chances a game, then we would be in trouble. Like at the end of the day, we're creating a lot. So
you can't. Look, we can't have it all, can we? I mean, like we got 41 goal involvements, like across our front four, with you know, goals and assists. So I think I do agree, though. You know, there has been times where the wrong decisions been made. You know, efforts have been wayward. You can think of loads straight off the top of your head. You know, we can think of some the other night against Swansea. How many times have we said it could be 3, it could be 4, 5? You know, but. For me, I'm happy with where we're at. You know, I'm definitely happy with where we're at. Of course, you know, you'd like to beat Rotherham. You should be beating Rotherham, as tough as the game is. But you know, Leicester went and dropped points at bloody Wednesday. You know, and we dropped points against Wednesday. These things happen.
We scored the third most in the league, joint third. I just looked, so we're not doing too bad. But
who's scored more? Is it Ipswich and Leicester?
Leicester have scored 1 more, and Ipswich have scored 8 more. 39 they've scored. So
yeah, they score for fun, don't they? Ipswich, to be fair. Are you as confident as me that we can pull in the top 2 with it being 7 and 8 points? I think we'll get there by the 1st of Jan, to be honest.
I'm very confident, and I have been since we got those like first few games out of the way in August, when all hell was breaking loose with players missing, and I've been confident. I'm so confident in Farker. Like I know he's repeating ourselves, but he's done it before, and it's just the way we're playing, and I think we'll reel them in. But we already are. Like if we'd have lost that Leicester game 27 days ago, we'd have been 17 points behind them. Now we're 8. I think give it mid-January, February, we'll be there. But I did think it would be Ipswich that fall off. But I don't know.
It could be Leicester. It could be Leicester.
Yeah,
it could be. I would love nothing more, by the way, if they were the one that dropped out.
Yeah. And also I wouldn't rule Southampton out either. I think out of us 4, it could be any combination of like in order. But I think we'll be going back up this season. Pretty confident.
For sure. Eevee, I feel that you might temper our expectations a little bit.
Passion merchants at the top.
It must be the gingerness in us, bro. I think that's what it is.
I said on Kate's show quite a while ago that I said that we would be top 3 by December, and everybody said I was mad at the time. But I do think that this is where my point earlier on about the squad rotation and the fact that we need players to be warm instead of coming on cold and then not performing, and then us hammering them for not performing, and therefore we overuse our current starting 11 to the point where they get injured. That's going to be massive in December, because I do think that if we are not confident in our bench options and if they're not being used properly, then they miss sitters and therefore they affect games. And I think that if we don't have a good squad that we can rely on and rotate when there's games that the Rotherham, the Stoke, games like that we should be absolutely hammering, and that didn't happen, we lose those games in December if we don't rotate. And I think that that's going to be the difference between whether we get top 2 by January, is how he manages, like manages, rather than, we know that the team is technically good enough, but it's how he rotates. And we seem to be doing the same 60-minute sub. It gave me 21-22 season flashbacks of Bielsa bringing on Tyler Roberts at 60 minutes, and everybody would just groan because of the fact that we knew exactly what was going to happen. And we can't afford that. We've got a whole month to make up for. So I do think that we need luck, and we were lucky with Leicester being arrogant like we were against Stoke and Rotherham. So they dropped points. But I do think that there is a point where Ipswich just might not stop. They just might continue, and it might be Leicester that fall off. And then I think that we're not talking about Southampton enough either, because they're, everybody's talking about Leeds getting in the top 2, like external journalists and everything, but they're only a point behind. And, sometimes I think it's better to be the underdog rather than have the expectation. And Leeds have a hell of a lot of expectation on us.
Playing a bit of devil's advocate. Thing is, right, say tomorrow or against Blackburn, he was like, right, I'm going to rest him. And then we lose the game. And people being like, why are you playing Gruev and resting Ampadu? Why are you doing this?
No, but that's why I say you should rest one player per game, essentially, so that each player, we did it too much at Stoke. It was half of a new team, and then nobody knew what they were doing. If you just change one, then you've got other people who can kind of mop up after that player.
Not rock the boat too much, but just subtle changes. Man, they're all the same, aren't they? Like, you know, even like Arteta at Arsenal, who just plays Saka every minute of every game. Like Brighton play Matoma every minute of every game. They just hate resting. They just hate resting their best players. But it could come to a point where we just have to. So yeah, I think subtle changes is probably a good idea. Yeah. And obviously FA Cup and that should just be like a completely different 11 because we ain't got to worry about that.
No, I agree. Right, we're coming up to an hour. It's gone really quick tonight. It's been a great show as well. Great debut from Eevee. A lot of love in the chat as well. Lloyd, thanks for getting up out of bed and joining us as well. What time did you say you were up? 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Yeah.
I do not envy you, mate. I do not envy you. Let's get some score predictions before we leave. Team predictions, Vic. I think we all reckon it'll be the same. I think we all agree it'll probably be the same 11. Am I right in saying that same 11 for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's get some score predictions. I'm gonna go. I do think they'll score, but I think we'll score 3. I'm going 3-1 Leeds United. I'm going to come to you first, Stevie, because I think you might temper it, and then we can finish on a high with Lloyd. Let's go to you. Let's go to you, Eevee.
I think it's going to be. I'm going to do a Danny Rumsey and go 2-2.
2-2, Danny. Well, that'll never happen because Danny Rumsey never predicts right, so that's cool. Big love to Danny in the chat as well. Lloyd, come on then. What's your score prediction?
A nervy 2-1 win.
Nervy 2-1.
Yeah. I think we'll go 2-0 up and then cling on a bit and just get over the line, which I'll be happy with as long as we get the 3 points.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll get 3 points. Like Nick says, we will.
I'm just hoping West Brom can do us a favour at midday. And then give them even more motivation to go and imagine if West Brom win that and we could close the gap to 5 points.
Imagine.
Be unreal. So yeah.
Imagine, mate. And guess what, folks? You can cover it all on the Just Joe football show. So I will be live for the West Brom versus Leicester game, and then from there we'll jump straight into the Leeds United game as well. So hopefully we're just bouncing. We're bouncing from that dinner time kickoff straight into that. And like Vic says, maybe if that happens, I'll order myself a Sibian and go wild, go wild in the aisles. But yeah, listen, show a lot of love for tonight's guest. Make sure you follow Lloyd on his channel. He's a regular. We'll be having Eevee back for sure as often as possible. So yeah, thanks as always for watching. It's been a late one, but you've all been here. So thank you all for being here, and we will leave it there. I'll see you tomorrow in the morning from about 12:20, folks.